Hi. Hi everyone. I am we have our next session of Let's Talk Design today with Shami Goregaonkar from GA Design, and I am just waiting for her to join in. Thank you all for being here. We'll be talking about marble trends in residential spaces. Hi. Hi everyone. Thank you. Just waiting for Shami to join in. Can't see her online yet. She should be here shortly. If there are any questions for Shami or on residential trends with stone, please do drop in your messages here. Thank you all for being here. We should start in about a minute. Hello everybody. Just give me, I'm probably going to send her a message. She hasn't joined yet. Oh, I can't see her yet. I don't know why I can't see her. There is some issue. If there is somebody here who can, I'm just talking to her on the side. She should be able to see me. Because I can see everybody else. Yes. Oh. Hi everyone. Sorry about that. I think there is some issue with Instagram. Just give me a second. It's not showing. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Hi.
Are we there?
Yes, we are there. I don't know why it was connecting to my, I don't know why I could not see on the A-Class account. Okay, thank you so much, Ami, for being with us here. It's a
Thank you
pleasure
so
to
much for calling me, and thank you A-Class Marbles for having this little chat.
Yes, it'll be an absolute pleasure to speak to you on this platform. I'll just give everybody a quick introduction. So, GA Design is a multidisciplinary architecture and design practice based out of Mumbai, founded in 1999 as Goregaonkar Architects. It's a partnership firm with Rajan and Sachin Goregaonkar. The work at GA Design manifests creativity through well-choreographed architecture and interior design. At GA Design, they craft services for live, work, and play, from multifamily residential communities, luxury residences, redevelopment housing, to single family luxury villas, workplaces, and hospitality spaces. The studio's portfolio is diverse. Shami Goregaonkar studied interior design at Sir J.J. School of Arts as well as the Nirmala Niketan Polytechnic in Mumbai. At GA Design, she works on interior design projects for luxury apartments and clubhouses in Mumbai. Shami is a certified color consultant and is equipped with extensive knowledge on interior styling as well as color and lighting concepts. She combines this knowledge with a keen eye for latest design trends to create integrated urban designs. Shami's design approach complements the research-based ethos of GA design. Thank you, Shami, for being with us.
Thank you, Tanya,
I think our
for the
audience
wonderful
will really benefit from all your insights on trends in residential spaces when it comes to stone. So I'll quickly introduce the subject. We are going to talk about how trends have developed over a period of times when it comes to using stone. Personally, what is your criteria when you pick up stones for residential spaces?
So for a residence, flooring basically sets the perfect canvas for the design. And depending upon the design, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything is going all blank. Can you hear me?
No, but I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So depending on the design concept, I would go for a natural looking material that complements the rest of the decor. So if it is a huge apartment where a lot of the flooring is going to be visible, I'd select a stone which has prominent characteristics, where you can see the beautiful veins of the stone sort of running through the room. Whereas if you're designing a space that's a little compact, I would go for a natural looking stone, but something which has sort of a more or less lighter color, a fewer characteristics, which makes a space look more open and big. So in terms of examples, I would select a stone with a prominent character like maybe a Satvario or a Silver River, for the floor. Right. Whereas if for a larger house, whereas if it's a smaller apartment, I'd go for something like maybe a crystal gray or something like a gray sonata that sort of sets a very soft base for the interiors.
Right. So, within residential spaces, there's obviously horizontal surfaces as well as vertical surfaces, right? How do you think one can play around with using stone for different types of surfaces? And can you share some examples where you have sort of explored this in your work?
Yeah, I can tell you. I've always believed that any stone with a prominent characteristic should be admired from a distance. So, for example, if you're highlighting a wall, for example, then, for me, I'd go for something like an iceberg marble or maybe a panda marble or something that looks good from a distance where you can actually understand the characteristic of that natural stone.
Fair point.
Whereas, whereas if you're laying it on the floor and if it's going to be cluttered with a lot of furniture pieces, then you don't really have to sort of try and match the patterns, or you don't really have to sort of try and see the veins flowing through, or you can go for softer tones. That's what that's how I would look at marble as. And it is also important to remember that any natural stone can now be treated in a variety of ways. So you can actually enhance or transform its appearance. So you can have it sandblasted, you can have a hydro finish, you can have, it can be honed, it can be treated in so many different ways that you can now use different stones in the same room without it looking very jarring.
Right. So have you done something? I mean, could you talk about something unique that you've done in maybe vertical surfaces?
I'm currently designing a show flat in Pune where we have used this exotic golden, exotic iceberg marble on a feature wall. It has a bright blue paint on one side and a white, iceberg marble on one side, and it looks really, really exotic.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Any tips on what one should keep in mind when using stone for horizontal or vertical, like what to do and what not to do?
See, the purpose of using a natural stone in interiors is to add a raw earthiness to your design, and also at the same time to add a little bit of gloss. So stones with their natural features enhance the decor of a room. So we also must remember, the higher the gloss, the more slippery they get when they are wet.
Right.
So that is one thing to remember. Also, marble is one of the strongest and oldest stones to be used in ancient architecture. I mean, if you go to Rome, you will see, if you visit one of the historical sites, you will see that every single place, right from the ancient ruins of the Roman Forum of the 8th century to the Vatican City and the pavements, have got travertine laid all over the place, and it's still rock solid. So I mean, it's not been weathered. It's not really that much affected. It still looks rich.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, you have to know how and where to use it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. So also, Shami, could you tell us, you do a lot of, the studio does a lot of work, high-rise commercial projects as well as residential projects. What are the things that one must keep in mind when you're using stone in exterior spaces, especially exterior spaces, in like, let's say, housing projects, residential apartments and things like that?
So stone can be used, like you said, in horizontal spaces as well as vertical spaces, both indoors and outdoors. The advantage now is that the stone that you want to use can be treated in so many ways that it doesn't really matter if it's going to, if you think that marble is going to be slippery, no, you can have it leather finished, you can have it sandblasted, you can have it honed.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you're using it on a wall and if you're worried about, oh, it's going to look flat and dull, you can do a hydro finish, you can even do gold leafing, you can even do all sorts of, you can treat it in so many ways that make it durable, that make it appealing, and sometimes the treatment done to natural stone can even enhance the original stone that has been picked up.
Right.
So,
when could you share 5 tips or just 5 lessons that you have learned in your experience when you're designing for contemporary homes?
You mean tips on marble?
Yes, stone. Stone.
Just stone.
Stone at large, yeah, not necessarily marble. Yeah.
I would think that any stone, any natural material that you buy, you must ensure that you enhance its natural characteristic, you enhance its natural look. Try not to subdue that. So if you're using a marble, for example, if you're using a marble which has a natural characteristics of a lot of veins going through, try and enhance that if you're trying to treat it. Do not try and suppress it. Do not try and make it flat or bland.
Right.
That would be, that would be just killing the natural effect of the stone. Because I have been to marble, processing units in the recent years. I've been to a couple of them, and I've realized that the marble, when it is brought from the quarry, it just looks like a block of any rough stone. Only a trained eye can tell what marble that exactly is. But then it goes through a process where it goes through about 16 steps of various things, the resins and the polish and the cutting and all that. And that's when the slab comes out to be looking the way you see it in, marble showrooms. So you treat that with that kind of respect and understand that marble is now available in pre-polished, pre-cut slabs, which makes laying a lot easier. It makes it more time effective, cost effective as well. Right. So use it wisely, and there is no such thing like if you have a marble, you cannot use any other stone with it. As long as you use it intelligently and it fits within your design concept, it's a beautiful stone to be used, and any natural stone for that matter, they are beautiful and they must be used as opposed to, the artificial varieties.
So, Shami, as at GA Design, I mean, coming to sort of specific spaces now, right? You've obviously done, I'm sure, a lot of kitchens. It's one space in the house that is, that everybody also inevitably uses stone in. People do tend to use stone in kitchens, right? What are the what are the things that we should keep in mind when we're using stone in kitchens? 2, if you could share references on what works and what doesn't work, in terms of your experience. Yeah.
So traditionally, granite has always been used as a kitchen countertop because it is heat resistant, it is non-porous, and it comes in darker tones, so it hides all the stains.
Right.
So, but that always had limitations because granite to be used in darker colors would only mean you could use black, you could use dark brown or tan brown, or you could use some form of maroon. Which limited your choices in terms of backsplash. It limited your choices in terms of cabinet finishes that you would want to have. Marble, on the other hand, you could use as countertop, but it is although it is heat resistant, it is very porous, so it is not stain proof. So if you want to use it as a countertop only for something like oven cooking, maybe you could use it. But if you want to really cook like haldi stains and wine stains and coffee stains and stuff, marble is not an option. But quartz or composite marble is a wonderful option these days for kitchens, because
Right.
it has all the same properties that granite has. So it is
Right.
heat resistant, it is stain resistant,
Yeah.
and it is very sturdy. And the biggest
Right.
advantage is it comes in a variety of colors. So you're not limited to using dark countertops. You can have a light or even a white countertop if you so wish. And that gives you a wider choice for your backsplash. That gives you a wider choice for your cabinet finishes also.
Of course. Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, quartz comes in so many colors and so many pleasant textures that sometimes you can even continue your countertop into your backsplash to get a
Right.
more uniform sort of homogeneous look.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, Charmi, GA Design is known for its residential projects, that demonstrate luxury. Luxury is the epitome of your work. So what are the trends today when it comes to flooring and wall cladding? What do you think are going to be the trends, especially in the new year now?
People are veering a lot towards natural materials now. I mean, there was this phase in between where nothing natural was used, but now people are, with all the sustainability talk and all that, people are now moving a lot towards natural stuff, more organic stuff. So obviously, marble is one of the sort of favorite amongst people who can afford it, and even marble comes in an affordable range. So it's not only now meant for the rich people, anyone can use marble if they want to. Of course, the whiter marbles are a little more expensive than the regular colored browns and greys and beiges. But
Right.
marble continues to remain the all-time favorite of clients as well as designers when it comes to flooring. Marble can also be used as wall cladding. It can be used as feature pieces, and you get, I mean, in the last 1 year, I've seen this trend of Patagonia marble, which is translucent. So it is not like onyx where the whole slab can be backlit,
Yeah.
but it is translucent in spots.
Right.
So the lighter parts is where the light can come through, the darker parts stay dark. So that marble it looks so beautiful when it's backlit. It can be used on wall surfaces, it can be used on bar counters, it can be used on table cladding, it can be used in a variety of places where there is a chance of backlighting it.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that has been trending now for a while, and it looks really, really good. And it's a step away from the usual golden onyx that people have been using for years now, where the whole slab is backlit. But this one looks even more exotic.
Nice. Cool. I think my last question to you would be, what has been your sort of most memorable experience in working with stone?
That's a good one. The most memorable experience for me to work with stone is in fact, in the last 1 year, like I said, I've visited 2 marble factories. And for me, to see the marble from that raw block to the time it actually undergoes those 16 processes and comes out, and then when you lay it down in the sun and then stand there to select, I mean, that process itself is one of the best experiences I've ever had. So it's not actually about how I use it in my interiors, but it's the whole experience of how it has been treated is what I think will stay with me for a long time.
I think that's a very interesting thought as well, because it shows that, the process, I mean, even for me, I think that as a designer, process is always more important for us than the final product. So, that is equal, that's what is exciting really. The final product, obviously, it manifests as great design, but that process is equally exciting. So thank you, Shami. That has been super, super useful, I think. And please.
I hope it has been.
Yeah, I'm sure. And a lot of times we have our audience keep coming back to the IGTVs again and again, and to hear it. So feel free to share it on your social media as well. Last words, we are following. So this series is called Let's Talk Design. We're following the hashtag Let's Talk Design. So if you had to say one thing on Let's Talk Design when it comes to stone, what would that be?
That's a tricky one. It wasn't included in the questionnaire.
Yes, we try and keep some surprises right at the end. Although the series, it's really any one thing when it comes to stone that you'd like to leave the audience with. just like a message. It's really just that.
I would say treat natural stone with a lot of respect and love that it deserves, because there are thousands of people actually working there to mine that stone for you. They're working in quarries to get that stone out for you. There are thousands more who are working out here in the processing unit. So please respect the stone, use it with a lot of love and care, and use it as something that is very, very precious. That's what I would say.
That is exactly what we wanted to hear. Thank you so much. Uh, Thank you for being A-Class this year is celebrating 50 years of being in the industry. So as a thank you gesture for being a part of this journey with A-Class, uh, they would be planting a tree on your behalf and you'll be getting a
Oh, that's
certificate.
wonderful.
Yes,
That's
yes.
wonderful. Thank you so much, A-Class, for this thoughtful gesture. And thank you, Tanya. It's been lovely to see you and chat with
Yes,
you after
yes.
ages.
I know, I know, and I can see that Mumbai is super warm and we are all loaded up here in Delhi. So I
Yes.
hope I see you in Mumbai soon. Yes,
Yes, of course. Do
yes.
get in touch when you're visiting.
Yeah, yeah, I will. I will. Thank you so much. It was really nice seeing you.
Thanks,
Okay,
Tanya. You
thank
too.
you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.